Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Welcome to another live stream. So hopefully over the next 2 hours we can all get some hobby done, whether that's painting or whatever. As you can see from the little picture on the bottom left of your screen, I'm still battling away with this little Pomeranian for my Dungeons and Doggies set, or Dungeons and Doggies, whatever it is. What are you up to tonight, David?
I've literally just taken a taco off the 3D printer for Gaslands.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
So
yeah, you mentioned that.
My the turn counter for me. I'm just taking the brim off that now as we speak, and then I'm going to give that a tidy up, ready to go.
Yep.
So that'll be job number 1 for this evening. Job number 2 for this evening, I think, is going to be finish Deadzone. And
you're assembly on that, is it?
Assembly still. And then
Okay,
job
cool.
number 3, if I'm really boshing into it, I might
Jesus.
do some DZC terrain.
Okay. What?
More of that MDF
you've got
stuff.
it. Have you got it all assembled?
No, so I have left to assemble for DZC.
Because you've got a full table of that, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got a full 4x4 table, so I've got left to assemble the straight railway lines because I've already got a set of these. I didn't have a set.
Cool.
And the curved set. So I've got them to finish off. And then the other one I have left to build, and I have taken that one out of the wrapper, unfortunately, so I don't know where the shipping label's gone.
Right.
But it's the oval tower that we said about. So it's a skyscraper, probably about 8 inches high.
But an oval profile. Interesting.
And that to build up. Well, again, it's something a little different. It's something something a bit nice, something a bit different. No, the FDM printer came out of its retirement because it's been sat idle since just before Christmas. And I re-leveled the bed, and my God, it has worked brilliantly. Now, where's a piece of wood for me to touch? Because I've probably cursed the fucker.
Because that was more Gasland stuff on it that you put on last night, tokens.
Yeah, so last night, did nothing last night. I was just prepping prints.
Was it last night?
Yeah, it was last night. Tonight, I printed the taco needle because that was an 8-minute print.
Let me just turn my empty miniature shot off because I'm sure people don't want to see that white screen.
And then I've printed 6 of these little gear spawn markers that I'm going to paint up in different colours for up to a 6-player game.
Okay, cool. So they have to be separate for each player, so you've got to paint into ID.
Yeah.
Okay,
to be fair, I'm just going to fucking airbrush them a metallic, and then I'm going to just put red, blue, green, yellow, orange, and probably purple.
What, it's like a contrast or something to tint the metallic?
No, on the gear. So they're going to just be like a metal button and then do the Boston gear separate.
So like a just painted. Yeah, I get you. Well, if everybody wants to say hello in the comments and sound off with what you're going to be working on over the next couple of hours, then that'll be good. We'll get to see what projects we're on. Let's start with getting some paint down. And then we'll just have a general chit chat, I guess. So, do you want to start with Monday night? What did you get up to at club?
Gaslands. So we had.
God, mate, you're on a Gaslands kick at the minute.
I know. This is so unlike me. Usually it's a different game every fucking week.
Every 5 minutes.
And I think for the past month, just over a month, it's been like 90% Gaslands.
Yeah.
Not that I'm complaining.
Well, no, because you're enjoying it, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a fucking breath of fresh air, mate. It's an absolute breath of fresh air.
I must confess, it's got to go on my list of games to do simply from the fact that buying is so cheap. It's nuts.
14
innit?
quid, 14 quid rule book. Go to your local fucking range, Poundland, fucking wherever. Buy
Yeah,
some,
wherever does Hot Wheels for next to note.
stick that shit down. Get some 3D printed or dive in a bits box, and have some fun. So no, Gaslands Monday was gonna be Saturday Night Live. Me, Ricky, and Mikey.
And that's the Demolition Derby
Yeah, so
style
it's a
scenario.
Demolition Derby arena, and basically first to 15 VP wins.
Okay.
So there's like different audience actions that can be taken. So it depends on the gear phase, and basically you roll a d6 and add it. So there's like control the active vehicle and be in third gear kind of thing. There's get near the center of the table and do that one. There's wreck a vehicle while you're controlling the active vehicle, that kind of stuff.
And what are these turn-by-turn objectives that you've got?
No, these are basically what the audience are vying for.
Okay.
And as soon as you complete it, whoever completes it first,
set this paint stand off here.
you get the audience vote and a VP. So your audience votes count towards your VP. You can use your audience votes for respawning, fucking with other players, all that kind of stuff. So that was that. Nice and simple. Term one. The other thing was we had Marley, and we had DW playing, because DW didn't get his 40k game, and Marley, the young lad, bless him, wanted to play some Gaslands with us. So we said, yeah, no, that's fine. So what we did...
Because he was quite taken with it.
Yeah, he is. So what we did was we capped the game out at 40 cans build list and one car and one car only. So sort of best of the best.
And you got it finished well within time.
Definitely, but we'll cross that bridge in a minute, because that's a completely another matter why we got it finished so quick. So we started off...
Yeah. I've forgotten.
Nice and easy. I think by the end of the second gear phase in the first turn, I'd scored one of the objectives and Mikey had scored one of the objectives. Everybody else on the table was sort of setting up. So that was that. Played a bit more. We had David explode in a cloud of smoke. We had Mikey fucking wreck himself. Absolute disaster that was. Because David's blast just fucking nuked him. So what you do when you wreck your vehicle, is you roll a d6. On a 6 up, you explode.
Right.
For all the ammo that you're packing extra, you add to that d6 roll.
Okay.
Considering this was turn 1 and David hadn't unloaded his fucking heavy truck full of all the ammunition under the sun,
Christ.
He had a plus 16 to his roll.
Oh.
So David went nuclear.
Okay.
So that was hilarious, because that was the other side of the battlefield, and I didn't give a fuck about it. Then we went round.
Did the blowback take out any other players?
Blowback took out Mikey, I think. Or it reduced Mikey to basically fuck all. Marley rolled up, and Marley just lit him up like a fucking Christmas tree and took him out of the game. So it was like Marley, Ricky, and me left. We'll come on to the interesting thing now. Mikey was playing Highway Patrol as the faction.
Yeah.
So as part of the Highway Patrol, you nominate a bogey, i.e. an enemy vehicle that you're going to target. And it does two things for you. Thing number one, when you nominate your bogey and you're outside of double range of it, so that's a long and a short template, you get to move again. So you can always sort of chase it down, hunt it down, kill it, kind of thing.
Right.
Second thing Highway Patrol do is when it wipes out, i.e., it crashes, but it doesn't explode into a ball of flames.
Yeah.
Because it's got enough hazards on it, you get 2 audience votes for it.
Right.
When the vehicle wrecks, i.e., is removed from the gameplay, it gives the operator 4 audience votes. Part of the rules for Saturday Night Live state that all audience votes count towards VP. So basically, for every audience vote you get a VP. So Mikey started the game facing off against DW, nominated DW as the bogey. Obviously, fucking DW went up in a puff of smoke in like turn 2.
Yeah.
Or phase 2. So that's immediately 4 audience votes. Plus the one he scored for scoring one of the objectives. So he's already on 5 VP before we've even got to Marley's second turn. Or Marley's third turn, actually, because Marley was pole position. Marley took out Mikey. So, okay, that's not too bad. But because the bogey was taken out, Mikey gets to nominate a new bogey. So he nominates Ricky, who's packing a buggy with barely any hit points and armor and everything else, because Ricky was of the school of speed and power. So I fucking
so he what essentially had a railgun on a go-kart.
Pretty much. I rocked up to Ricky, and by rocked up to Ricky, I stopped about a medium template away from him, so about 3-4 inches away from him, and went, "You look like you could do with some fun in your life." And then unloaded my entire vehicle's weapons cache into Ricky. Okay. So that was a rocket with 6d6. I think I got spike dice on that and got like 5 damage through.
Okay.
Of the 6 hull points he needed. Yeah, I know. I spread the love a little bit and went on to shoot at Marley a bit. And then I unloaded the last shot into Ricky and it fucking blew him up.
Yeah.
Evening, Tim. How are we doing today, mate? So that was Ricky dead. So that's another 4 VP to Mikey. And Mikey's not even got a fucking car on the table. So Mikey's currently winning the game on 9 VP to, I think, the most other that was on the table was like 2. Then when you wiped out, when you don't have a car, you get 2 VP to basically speed you up, because it takes 3 or 2, you get 2 audience votes, because it takes 3 audience votes to respawn your vehicle. Okay. So Mikey had 10 by the time he was respawning.
Right.
Then
so he did have to spend a few.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you spend those audience votes, it doesn't reduce your VP. You've already scored your VP.
Oh, right.
So he's on 10 VP to everyone's else like 2 or 3. Respawns. Ricky respawns as well. Mikey nominates Ricky as the bogey. So then they're going and fucking duking it out. Meanwhile, I'm over in a corner crashing into Marley and just having a fucking whale of a time. David's trying to smash his way through a container stack to get into the middle of the battlefield. And that was basically Gaslands over in about an hour and a half, 2 hours for a 4-5 player game. All because Highway Patrol. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Tim, been up to not really a lot this week, but I've got my FDM printer going again. So I've just been cracking out the old Gaslands things. What about you? What are you up to tonight? So yeah, the Highway Patrol seem very powerful. Obviously, I think there's something that will nuke them. But even like me and Ricky were saying, in a death race, they're still pretty good, because it's like, oh, your opponent's away from you. Just go chase them down and take extra moves to get towards them. Do you know what I mean? It's still pretty darn good.
But I was thinking as you were talking there, obviously, he nominated Ricky as a bogey. so you took Ricky out, thus handing him a ton of points. Is there a way for you to have played that more strategically so that you didn't hand him a ton of points?
Yeah, we didn't realise until after I'd taken out Ricky that actually he was on like +8 points.
Right. So that was a
faux pas on my part.
Okay.
That I will admit. That was a faux pas on my part.
Because obviously, I think that by the sounds of it, the thing to do is not play into their game. If they nominate, because did you score anything from taking Ricky out, or was it just for the shits and giggles of doing it?
It was shits and giggles on my way across the battlefield.
Yeah.
Because so the first objective was control car being in gear 3, so it's got to be in gear 3 when it starts. Second one was can't remember, and then the third one, which actually took ages for somebody to get, was the middle of the table. Get to the middle of the table with your active vehicles.
Okay. That's the other crowd, please.
Yeah, you've got to be within Tim's remoting into work to fix some stuff. That sounds like a pleasant evening, Tim. Yeah, you've got to be within short range of the center of the table, which is like 2 inches, mate. It's like fuck all. And because obviously it's a template game, it's a lot harder to get there than just go, oh, I'm going this way. But
because you have to plan your route, sort of thing.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, it was a fun game. And we'll do it again at some point, but it was just a bit like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think you'll work out, where you went wrong, sort of thing. And it sounds like, in a way, Mikey was handed the win.
Yeah, definitely. I will agree with that.
Because of poor planning, sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, again, we didn't know. It was the first time anyone had played with Highway Patrol anyway.
Yeah, so the rest of you weren't really aware that that's how things were going to roll.
Yeah, because, again, like Miyazaki have a way of earning audience votes, which is if you resolve a shift, a spin, and a slide in the same activation, you get a showing off token.
Right.
And if every vehicle has a showing off token at the end of a gear phase, I want to say, at the end of like at the end of a turn, you clear the board state and you get an audience vote per vehicle that has the showing off tokens. But obviously the caveat is until everything's got showing off, you don't get anything.
Everything in
that particular
team,
group,
or
yeah.
So not every player.
No, in Ricky's team, for example.
Yeah, I got you.
Then the Mishkin one that I was playing with was basically just shoot as many different named weapons as you could. So that was, again, the reason that I unloaded a shit ton into Ricky was because I had 3 different named weapons on that vehicle.
Okay, and shooting them all was a way for you to do the crowd pleaser.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's fair.
Because, again, one of the other lads had one of my named weapons, and it's only the first time it's used in the game. So, again, it's that.
Okay.
It's get your shots off first.
Yeah, okay.
The table looked good. I haven't actually uploaded. I'm currently cleaning up some 3D prints. Tim, Paul is still painting that fucking Pomeranian.
Yeah, sorry.
And chatting about Gaslands for now, which was my Monday night. I think in a minute we'll touch on what Paul was doing, and then I do have a little bit of I think we both have a bit of a discussion point actually tonight, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, there's things we can chat about. There's there's been one thing in particular that sort of cropped up this week that I'd like to touch on. But so on Tuesday night, I did a board game, which is not the norm for me. But we got the offer to play Root, and I've heard a lot about it, so I thought, yeah, I'll take that chance. And I enjoyed it very much. I played, for anybody who knows Root, I played the Bird faction. For those that don't, it's an asymmetric war game stroke board game, where each of the different factions has a completely different win mechanic. So it's very, very asymmetric.
Swingy.
No, I wouldn't say swingy. Certainly some of the factions play easier than others. So like the first two factions, the Cats and the Birds, they play quite a straight game. The Cats just want to build stuff, sawmills and things. So basically just control a location, build stuff on it, score points, win. First 30 points is the winner. Mine was literally take control of areas that are controlled by the Cats, build nests, score points, win. The others, like the Woodland Alliance, which was the next faction, they have to sort of like spread dissent, and I think it's called sympathy. So they're like an underground militia, and you have to put sympathy tokens in regions controlled by other players to score points. But the problem with like the Woodland Alliance is because you're quite non-aggressive, you do play a bit of a spoiler game. The Cats and the Birds run away with quite an easy job, and unless you spoil their game, you've got no chance of keeping them under control until you win. So it takes more finesse, I think. At first appearances, I would say that takes more finesse than the other two factions. And the Vagabond is even worse. He doesn't really... That's the fourth faction, and it's essentially just a single creature that wanders around the woodland realm, making items, trading with other factions, and scoring points that way. And he has to play a massive spoiler game because there's no way he can keep up with the pace of the other factions doing their dead easy jobs of just, take this over. Score.
Home run.
So, I mean, the only thing that would stop me buying the game myself is the fact, because it's so massively asymmetric, it's got a very structured way that you add factions to the game. Like, when you're only playing it two-player, you have to play Cats and Birds.
Yeah, you can't pick any of the others.
Yeah, because if you added like Vagabond versus Birds and that was all that you had, good luck, son. You're crushed. Do you know what I mean? And because I don't have access to a board game group of 4 or 5 people that meets regularly enough.
Yeah,
it automatically knocks it off my buy list, because if I did have it, I'd never see half of it because I'd just be playing two-player 90% of the time.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I mean, again,
which is a shame.
It's not like Everdell in that regard, where you've got the solo mode, you've got the two-player mode, and then it's just a case of adding a bit more for 3 and 4 player modes. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not aware that there's a solo mode for Root. I'll be surprised if there is, but I don't know that there isn't, if I'm fair. But yeah, Everdell's a different thing, because, like you say, it doesn't matter how many players are playing.
No, it's the same. It's the same, or it's a very similar play experience with 2 players.
Correct.
Or 4 players. It's not.
Yeah.
The game doesn't require more finesse for 4 players. I mean, you just have to be slightly more switched on, because obviously you can have the rug pulled out from underneath you with stuff being nicked out of the meadow by 3 other players rather than just 1 player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but there isn't content that you don't see if you don't have that player count.
Well, yeah, the only thing is there's just extra locations, isn't there? But it's, in the grand scheme of things, that's still fuck all.
What do you mean extra locations? What you play one more?
Yeah, you've got the extras
worker placement cards.
Worker placement cards, haven't you, down the sides? And
yeah, but if they're random anyway, so you'll see them through multiple playthroughs, won't you? Even with 2 player.
True.
So yeah, that's what I did. It's a good evening. I'm not quite sure at the moment what's going on next week.
Well, I can tell you what I'm doing next week, and you're going to be so fucking hyped for the pictures. You're going to be so fucking hyped to pick my ear.
Okay.
See how it is, because
he's building it up.
I'm hyping it up because I am playing for the 6th time since 2nd edition dropped DZC. So I know we've got my big 4-foot table's worth of terrain. I do apologise for all on stream for the photos next week. It may be mildly triggering because all the buildings are still MDF. But I've only...
I know, you've got a week. You can paint all that.
Go fuck yourself, Dick. You know I've been busy IRL. Hence why I'm on everything else. But yeah, we're playing some DZC. So from what I understand at the moment, DW, Luke, Ricky, me playing. DW and Luke are bringing PHR. Luke is bringing the PHR starter set from... Yeah, Tim, or you paint terrain like I paint terrain and every other miniature that I want, which is I want the entire table to be gorgeous.
You tell him,
I know
Tim.
It sounds stupid.
Tim's saying you can do it.
Yeah, Tim's saying get car primer and just done.
But anyway. You know, grey car primer would look better than wood. Tim makes a valid point, I think.
But anyway, Luke, DW,
he's not
PHR.
He's not having it, Tim.
Is playing UCM. Then I haven't decided what I want to play because obviously I own every faction. So I don't know whether to play UCM, whether to play Shaltari, whether to play Resistance, because I've not played with any of my Resistance yet, or to play with my Scourge. I haven't really decided. I'm going to have a look over the weekend, I think, and then I'm going to decide.
Have you played Scourge before?
No, have I, fuck?
Oh, there you go. I mean, it makes sense. Play one of the ones you've not played.
Yeah, I just fancy some fucking Resistance, I think, to be honest. Some fucking...
Well, if you haven't played them, just play it.
Ruski tanks and fucking hovercrafts and all that good jazz. But yeah, that's what I'm doing in, what is it, 3 days, 4 days time? What's the
highlight colour for US dark green.
I was about to say hold it up to the painting cam, but the painting cam's off. I don't really know because it's not one I've come across.
It's a. Let me put it on the paint cam. It's a very grey green.
You will have to obviously wait a second or two for.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's see if I can put it
green to catch up.
There's the lid.
So then add a wash and a dry brush. It's flat, Tim. It won't take a dry brush.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the one thing that won't work. Dry brushing. I'm thinking German camo beige, you know. Maybe.
I like green.
Well, it's not, though, is it? Look at it. It's very dark grey green. Very dark.
Also, are we staying hydrated? I mean, I have water, but I can probably partake in a beer in a second, Tim. I
finished a glass of wine a while ago.
I'm just fishing fucking... I'm just
Take that
fishing
back out.
wire wool out of my jogging
Fingers.
bottoms. No, jogging bottoms. Because actually, it's PLA dust. Because PLA dust apparently goes like fucking wire wool and sharp as fuck when you trim it off the base. The corners take a dry brush. Okay, I'll give you that. The corners take a dry brush.
Yeah. No, don't like that. Don't like that. That's too dark and knotty. Close.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spawn points sorted.
The Russian uniform might be not too bad. Not overpowering.
I was going to say Russian uniform, green-grey.
Yeah, let's try Russian uniform because it's a bit more khaki, a bit less. It's a bit brighter, a bit paler.
What have you been working on this week anyway, Tim? Anything good? Anything exciting? Because I know you were suffering from brain fog last week.
Paintbrush drying as he sat there dribbling.
Are you saying harsh things about our clientele, Paul?
That was what he said. He said it first.
It wasn't me, officer. He fucking started it.
Please, miss. He started it.
But
welcome to primary school. So, I tell you what, the highlight of my week, I won my first golden button on tabletop in the projects. So I'm well chuffed with that. To be honest, I feel a bit of a fraud because some of the quality.
Not finished your project and also the quality of some of the others.
Well, I mean, not finishing a project is fair enough because the guys, if something catches their interest, they go in early and, you know, give you the award pending it, you know.
Completion, yeah.
But some of the work, Jesus. I mean, it's like the other ones this week, the one that sticks in my mind, I can't remember the guy's name and I do apologise, but this guy's basically scratch built a Roman Colosseum, 3D printed the whole crowd.
What the fuck?
Man alive, it's berserk work. If anybody's interested, if you go to ontabletop.com, there'll be a post recently in the feed, community spotlight they normally call it, but the third one is absolutely an insane project. It's crazy.
Tim has been on Heresy Miniatures.
Heresy.
Tim's just called you out. If you feel like a fraud, go look at his first golden button. Terrain for Star Wars Legion was made from plastic inserts, spackle and sand, rough as flock.
That makes me feel better, thanks to now Heresy Miniatures. That rings a bell. Was that something that was on OTT Weekender this week? Where have I heard that before? Was that Lord of the Rings thing?
I'm sure Tim will fill us in a minute.
Or am I thinking of something else?
I don't know. You're old. Senile. You'll forget
things.
Yeah,
I barely know what day it is, mate.
Do you know what day it is today, Dick?
It's Thursday because I went back to bleeding work.
Did you remember to take your medication?
No, but I handed a ton out. Boom, boom.
He's here all week, boys. Now, I have No, Andy was on it, though, as Indie of the Week.
Yeah, that was that Lord of the Rings thing, wasn't it?
Paul, have you got my VidMe link up live?
Hang on. You mean your browser?
No, my face, my pretty face.
I've got your. What do you mean? Your
My
pretty
face in OBS. There we go. That is my taco done. I just need to stick a magnet in it now.
Yeah, I don't have you full screen actually. I'll create a scene for you next week.
That's fine. I'm just
so you can go super zoom mode.
Super zoom.
Super zoom.
Right.
Yeah. So come on. I'm going to have to do this. What the hell is this Heresy Miniatures thing?
What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, while we're on semi show off mode,
these look pretty cool.
The Veermin, he's all built and ready, and the Green Stuff Marine Corps prick, she's all done. And somehow, Paul, I found a Phobos Armored Librarian on my desk. I never paint GW.
A Phobos Librarian. Yeah, I don't suppose you got a Phobos Lieutenant there, have you?
I might have in a box somewhere.
If you've got one that you don't want, I shall give you cold hard cash for it.
Fair enough.
Because I want one for my Raven Guard.
Yeah. Heresy Miniatures Andy does great stuff like Boris the Barbarian, naked and in full schlong glory, skyclad.
That's why it rings a bell. That's because Warren say he had a catalogue and Justin hole punched all the bits out. I knew I'd heard it from somewhere. That is the one, isn't it?
Right. That's that dealt with.
Skyclad. Good band, by the way, for anybody who's interested. Folk metal. Brilliant. Right. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll put some gold down. Do you want to
Warren bought the Naked Boris for his RPG round.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I can talk about DZC if that's where we're going.
So if I do this for everybody at home, that should show us your screen. Ta-da!
So we have.
Let me just relocate you down. Whoa!
Are you dragging me off the screen, boy?
Yeah, I'm meddling when I shouldn't meddle and making things bad. So there you go.
Why does that not surprise me? so we have the new releases from TTCombat. So
DZC. You said
yeah. Stuff. This is
the armor groups
recently. The armor groups.
Yeah. Carry on, sir. I know you were getting a bit excited about all this.
I'm getting very excited because I could easily drop, what's that, 70, 140, 175 on these?
That's a lot of your English pounds.
That is a lot of my English pounds. But we now
did buy every faction, so we don't have any sympathy.
I did buy every faction. So we now have armor groups. So basically, premises, build your set out nice and rounded for DZC. Pair quite nicely with the starter sets.
I was just going to say, bearing in mind I'm thick and old, just talk me through this, because obviously each faction's got a starter army.
Yeah, so
how do these figure with that? How do they... Are they...
Second edition starters are basically double the size of what we bought for first edition, mate.
Yeah, I've got the PHR one, haven't I?
So your second edition starters are basically, from memory, a drop ship with the anti-air a dropship with some anti-tank, another dropship with some anti-air, another dropship with some anti-tank. Your commander, if your commander takes a dropship or not. And
they've got commanders
some
in
troops.
on
Yes,
new ones,
the new second edition starter sets have commanders in as well. They're fucking insane value.
I've learned something new.
You then round out your set. For example, with the resistance, you round out your set with an armor group. So you get another couple of dropships. You get
the same dropships as appear in the course.
Similar. There's some differences. I'll touch on this in a second. You get like a heavier tank. These are the anti-air for the resistance, which in the starter set are like the wrecked buses and those kinds of things that have been converted over all Mad Max styly, whereas these are like Russian tank chassis with the anti-air on.
Okay.
And then every faction has a new unit. So for the resistance, it is the
and this is entirely new to the game.
New to the game.
Okay.
New unit, beautiful little minis from TTCombat again. So you get two of these little walker, not walkers, two of these little like 6-wheeled infantry fighting vehicles for the resistance, and that's £35. Similar.
So how many models for 35 quid?
Depends on your box set, but for example,
okay, it varies.
Yeah, it varies. The resistance one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Sheltari one is 3, 4, 5, 6. The UCM one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not UCM,
right, okay, yeah.
The Scourge is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the UCM is 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. But
so
each faction gets new units. Now they are available individually. I think like a pair of the patterns for the resistance are £12 instead of like part of your 35 quid to bulk your set out.
This is the new unit.
This is the new unit. So you've got
okay.
Pattern AFVs.
I like the fact that they haven't locked them away in the boxes.
No, the Atlatl grav tanks, the Diana jet skimmers for the PHR. There's some more Spectra skim tanks for the Scourge. And then the UCM get a little bit more love because the UCM get the Polecat buggies, which are in the starter bonus set, and they get the Vulture dropship for it. So it's quite good. The other thing I've handily dandily done is opened the army builder. So then the Vulture troop ship costs you £35 or 35 points. The Vulture drop ship costs you 25 points, and the troop ship can take 4 infantry units, or the drop ship can take 4 like support. The other thing that we had in there was the Polecat buggies, which are, from memory, a standard unit. So I'm just having a look at these. So your stats on your Polecat buggies: 25 points, squad size of 2 to 4, movement 9-inch, active countermeasures, armor 12, damage 1 apiece, with an aggressor cannon, front side, 12-inch range free, 12-inch range countered, 3 shots hitting on 3 ups, energy 7 with focus -2. And then the Twin Nemesis minigun, which is a 16-inch range free, range countered 8 inches, 6 shots hitting on 3s, energy 4 with your focus 1 and cover, body, and soft. So basically, these are light scout units that are designed to tear the shit out of light infantry, light armored personnel carriers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, but not so great against armor.
Not so great against armor. Your troop ships and your drop ships. Your troop ships 35 points, 18-inch move, armor 10, so they're a little bit more heavily armored than a normal Vulture, I think. I'll just double check that. or Condor is technically the term. A little bit more. Yeah, no, they're the same armor as Condor, 3 damage. Okay, so they're basically the same stat line as a Condor. They're actually the troop ships can only take 2 damage. They're a little bit more flimsy, but for an extra 10 points on your 35-point dropship, you can give it AA. And that is something we've always said about in DZC, that AA is good. And the fact that AA units are A, quite expensive, and B, very limited, usually in their range, because obviously they're ground-based. The fact that this is an air-based AA, I think, changes a lot of things.
Yeah, that sounds quite useful.
That's on the troops ship, and you can only take 1, and you can put 4 troops in it as well, so it's nice and handy to drop them off on top of a building. Then you got the Vulture dropship. Similar stats, same AA battery rule, 25 points. You can put an extra AA battery on it for 10 points. And instead can take your polecat buggies, your light supports. So you've got basically in that box an air-based anti-air battery, and transport for either troops or anti-infantry squads. And then you've got Gladius and the Condors in that box to carry them. So it's not a bad value. It's not a bad value box, definitely. And most of that stuff I think would see play. Moving on to the Scourge. We've got the Spectra Skim Tanks, which are a new unit. Their movement 12 inches. Countermeasures active E+3. So I think that's active countermeasures for anything that's energy 3+. Armor 11, damage 1. So again, there's sort of a vibe here that everything is quite lightly armored and not too heavily wounded from what I'm seeing at the moment.
Okay, that's interesting for an armor group.
It's because I think what they've done is the new units that they've brought are scout units or lightly armored units. And then they've taken the core gladiuses and the hard heavy hitters and left them as they are. Do you know what I mean?
Right. So of course, because these are the new units. Yeah,
these are the new units. These have got plasma lance, front arc, range free 18 inches, range countered 18 inches. 1 shot hitting on a 3-up, energy 10 with Devastator -2 for infantry and scenery. That's gonna fucking hurt. Then it also has a photon blaster, which is a 9-inch range free and countered, 2 shots, accuracy 3-up, energy 6, indirect. So that will be handy to shoot over buildings and stuff and get shots down when you're being pinned, I think. The photon blaster always does damage to its targets on a damage roll of a 5 or a 6 as well, so it completely doesn't fucking matter about the energy on it being shit. Because obviously,
because it's got fixed damage.
Yeah, it's your energy plus your D6, and if
Who's
you beat
this
your
for?
armor, you're good.
This is for the Scourge now, isn't it?
Yeah, this is for the Scourge. So it looks like an okay unit. And then I think the other stuff you get in that box is troop ship or equivalent again, and then some anti-tank or anti-air, I think, because it's their rapid armor battle group. Basically, each I think is themed slightly for each faction. Give it a bit of flavor. They've not just gone, here's a heavy tank and here's whatever, which is quite nice. Now we're on to the PH. PHR. Diana Jet Skimmer. So their movement 8, active counted measures with the E+2 again in the countermeasure slot. Armor 13 as usual for the fucking PHR. Damage 1. Skimmer.
Bulletproof.
Yeah. Then they have what can only be described at first glance of what the fuck. They have a molecular agitator. 24-inch range free, 18-inch range countered, which sort of goes against most of what I've seen for DZC so far, of your range countered is basically half your range free.
Yeah, so it's not quite half.
No, it's 3/4, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
One shot, hitting on a 3. Energy 8, Devastator -3 for vehicle, and focus -3. So your Devastator is going to help you bring buildings down.
Yeah.
And I think that Devastator 3 will also go against vehicles because of the bracket on it. And then you focus -3. And then molecular absorbers is the keyword on this unit. When shooting this unit's whole squad may combine its shots with the focus special rule. However, all units doing so must be in coherency and line of sight with one another. So you can make that a ridiculously high-powered weapon by running 4 of these bad boys and keeping them within coherency.
Yeah, they basically group their energy.
Yeah.
For a single massive shot.
That's going to either melt buildings, it's going to melt buildings with your 4 shots going in and Devastator. It's going to absolutely tear through vehicles. And it's a skimmer. What's the one thing PHR struggle with? Movement. And it's got a movement of 8 inches.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a big contrast to their normal ploddy walkers, isn't it?
Yeah. Moving on.
I'll tell you what, they're 35 quid, you reckon, these boxes?
Yeah.
To be fair, you know, they look like a good buy. I think when I've painted my PHR starter, I'm probably going to jump in and get that for the Scourge and the PHR, who are my 2 factions.
The other thing that I've seen is, for example, having just a quick glance at the Sheltari one, for example. Oh no, the Sheltari one I thought came with a commander, but it doesn't. Ignore me.
The armor group.
Yeah.
Or the actual starter box.
No, the armor group, but it doesn't. I'm getting my War Striders mixed up because they all look so fucking similar.
Okay, fair.
The new unit here is the Atl Grav tank. The other thing looking here as well. There might be an alternative build for that, so you might get the options, knowing TTCombat, to build an either-or set. So you're at Lathal's. As usual, Sheltari bullshit here. 6-inch move, energy, countermeasures active, E+2, and passive 4-up, because fuck you. Armor 12, 1 damage, skimmer. It has a teleport beamer with a 12-inch range 3, range countered, 1 shot hitting on a 4.
Right.
Teleport beamer. This unit can choose to target friendly or enemy units, but not units in the same squad. Scenery pieces and behemoths cannot be targeted. If this weapon hits, it does no damage. But every unit in the targeted unit's squad in coherency must teleport. Move friendly units up to 6 inches per hit, or enemy units up to 3 inches per hit. This does not count as moving for the purposes of move and fire. Units must be placed in coherency, although may be placed facing any direction and ignore all scenery in their path of the move, although must be able to be placed on passable terrain. It's easiest to roll all hits first and then teleport the squad a total distance in one go.
My God.
So, yeah, that anti-tank that's locked down a fucking alleyway, drop a bit of these in, and off they fuck out of the way through a building.
Crazy.
Weakness in them, though, just off the top of my head, 12-inch range 3 and countered.
Oh, so they got to be pretty up close and personal.
They've got to fucking get in there. And that hitting on a 4-up, even if you were to thrust them out of a gate and drop them straight down, that's going to be hitting on 5s because of the landing rule.
Yeah. Okay, so not broken.
No, not broken. At least not at first glance. And again, this is just looking over the new things, getting people excited for DZC.
Excellent.
Is what I'm doing. I mean, I think they've been out a couple of weeks, but I'm late to the party, and I thought with me doing DZC next week, it was worth having a look.
But it's unlikely. Unlike you, I thought you'd have been doom scrolling your way through that shopping from the first.
No. So the alternative build, or at least it looks like it's an alternative build, is the Arrowhead Grav Tank. 6-inch move, active countermeasures, energy 2 up, 4 up save, fucking 15 or 12 armor, 1 damage, skimmer. Same shit. Different platform. It has Energy Storm as its weapons, which is an 8-inch range free, 8-inch range counter. So I'm seeing a flavour here for the Sheltari.
So countermeasures isn't doing an awful lot.
Up close and personal weapons.
Mm-hmm.
2 shots, hitting on a 4, energy 6, AA. This unit may not make shooting actions, but may reaction fire against aircraft without the usual reaction fire accuracy penalty. Energy Storm.
Unusual.
When firing this weapon, add +1 energy for every other friendly unit in the squad within coherency. And you can take these in squads of 3 to 9.
Okay. How expensive are they?
25 points.
Okay.
So it's 75 points for a minimum squad size.
A min squad, yeah. They're expensive. But I mean, basically, they're just... I like them because they're like flying mines would be the best way to put it, wouldn't it?
Skimmers that can reaction fire, and when they're reaction firing, there's no penalty for it, and everything in the group takes it from energy 6. So wounding a Condor on a 4-up to, if there's 3 of them in the group, that's energy 6 going to energy 8 or 9. So it's wounding on 1s or... Well, I think 1's never wound, but wounding on 2's AA. Reaction fire with no penalties. I will fucking take you. Thank you very much.
It's nice because it's got a role, but you could play around it.
Well, again, the fact that it's only an 8-inch bubble, because obviously whenever you're flying your anti-air, it's at 8 inches high, isn't it? Because that's one of the cornerstones of the rules. That everything's at 8 inches high. For buildings over 8 inches, you can't fly over the top of it, but anything 8 inches or lower, you can.
Yeah.
So it therefore basically means you're always going to be in their threat range. And again, if you lock down a fucking flight route, particularly between 2 tall buildings, you got no options, have you? They're AOE denial. AA is what I would call them.
Yeah, I mean, you like I say, you could play random because you just send something in to hunt them, send some tanks in to clear them out.
But again,
it opens up strategic play rather than just
And again, they're skimmers with passive fucking
that's annoying.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible. But then final new unit, Pattern AFV. So it can take. It's got squads of 3, and I think also their transports of 3 as well. So this is like a dual purpose thing. 6-inch move, armor 13, 2 damage. It's a tank. Headlines on the weapons. 36-inch range-free autocannon, 18 inches on the range countered, 2 shots, 3 up accuracy, energy 8, and special rules of cover. So I do believe that that's going to just tear the guys on windows and stuff apart. From memory on the rules, I'll be more up to date next week for looking at these in more depth, if you know what I mean. Then it has a grenade launcher, range 3, 18 inches, range countered 6 inches, 1 shot, hitting on a 3, energy 7, and it's penetrative, so it's going to hurt when it hits vehicles. You can also, if you want, replace the autocannon with a Liberator railgun for 10 points, so they go from 30 points to 40 points.
Right.
You liberate a railgun, 24-inch range countered, infinite range free because it's a railgun.
Yeah.
1 shot, accuracy 1 up, energy 10.
Yeah, so everything's on that one roll, but it's, powerful.
This weapon causes a critical hit when it beats the opponent's armor by 1 or more instead of 2 or more.
Okay.
So it's basically always going to be 2 damage. Basically, if you equal the armor, there's not a lot that's energy 10 or armor 10 or lower though. It's always going to be 2 damage it's putting out.
Unless it's PHR.
Yeah, and then it's 13, so you need 4s for your energy damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some tasty units there, I think. I'm certainly looking.
They sound like good value. What the armor, the battle starter boxes, money
35 quid for the starters.
Jesus, so for 70 quid you can get a ton of models.
Yeah. Let me take
That's
the new
good
release
value.
over. 2-player starter set is from £45, but as I've said to you in the past, they're double.
Okay, yeah, that's the 2-player
starter. Resistance starter army, £35. You get double what you're fucking used to.
Yeah, they're good value now.
Well, I mean, they were good value before. They're insane value now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ricky's wandered into chat, and he's looking forward to playing Dropzone on Monday. And he's also just said, £70 for an army. I might have to get myself some if I like my first game.
I mean, to be fair, why wouldn't you? It's such a good buy-in.
Yeah.
So while we're on TTCombat, did you say before that there was a new release coming for Carnivale, or they were spoiling something for that as well?
There was an Instagram post earlier today. There's some new guild miniatures coming for it. I meant to send it to you after I saw it. I believe it's called Blood on the Water.
Right.
There's been. I've not been massively up to date on it. I will admit that.
Not like you.
I know. Usually, I love fucking everything TTCombat, don't I? Where's their fucking blog on here? Come on, guys. Give me your blog. Do you have a blog? TC Community. There we go. They have been teasing it for a couple of months because I had a quick scroll back last night, and they've been releasing little like articles and books and stuff. Tim Albers, £70 GBP, many models, or one piece of junk from GW. I will mention no comments, Tim, because otherwise we need salt.
Tim, you said that, mate. You said that. Not wildly inaccurately, but you did say that.
Well, I mean, look at it this way. We've already had this conversation, haven't we, about how much it is to buy into a GW army.
Well, don't even fucking start me off, mate.
For a similar amount of money as buying a full army, rulebook, codex, everything else, you can buy yourself 2 DZC factions.
Yeah, I could spoil that. I could buy 2 of those armor groups, or I could spoil myself and buy myself almost a complete Lord of Change.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking insane. So teaser Tuesday for this week was...
Tell me about this Blood on the Water.
Hang on. Let me get my teaser Tuesday first.
Oh, it's got blood in the title. Is it anything to do with the Strigoi, or are you getting me needlessly excited?
I don't know. I'll possibly navigate over to Instagram in a second.
Because Strigoi is my thing.
Teaser Tuesday for this week is a load of more Venetian construction equipment. Tim Albers, a lord and some change.
Yeah.
Some new raised blocks for your Carnivale stuff. And it's been designed specifically to fill a 2x2 gaming board. And they've left plenty of space for canals and sunken buildings. You know, that table that you love, Paul. Now, I don't want to get DCMA'd, but it's a teaser. and it's a trailer for what we're talking about. So I'm going to fucking hit play on it. You just won't have any audio. Or you will have audio, and it will deafen you. It's just deafening me. So I've muted that shit. I don't know what it looks like, Paul, but if you have a look on screen.
So this is Blood on the Water.
25th of the 3rd, 22. All will be
Next
revealed
next
next
Friday?
week. Yeah. Do you know what else it is next Friday? Fucking payday.
Yeah. So it's basically just a train set. That's fine.
No. They're teasing the terrain set to go with Blood on the Water.
Oh, right, okay. But we still don't know yet.
Well, hopefully, TTCombat Instagram won't be a piece of garbage for me in a hot mess. Whatever. Fuck off. Yeah, I don't care. Paul?
What?
Are you looking at your screen? Or my screen share?
I'm painting.
Look up from your fucking screen.
Yes. Go on, man.
Oh, fuck off, Instagram. You're going to be a piece of shit, aren't you? Because I don't have Facebook logged in on this piece of shit. Right, hang on a minute. Hang on, hot mess. Bear with me.
I don't do Instagrams.
I do the Instagram. I just need to fucking make sure I pause Spotify, go over here, drag that out to a new window so I only get Instagram, not all the other shit that I have in Chrome, and then I need to go down to Discord and change shit. I don't want to stop sharing my screen. I want to change my window to Instagram TTCombat live. Hopefully.
It's a lie.
My stream is still running. Yes, I know that. Fuck off. Yes, we'll continue as my... Yeah, by the way, guys, if you want to go give me a follow for my Instagram, it's there at the bottom of the stream.
All I can see, I don't know if everybody at home can see it, is a big grey screen with a tiny little Carlivani icon in the corner.
What? Hang on. Stop sharing. Share my screen.
I was going to say, the stream has ended. You've gone.
Hang on.
What did you do?
I'm coming back. Oh, there we go. I fixed it.
He went away and he came back.
Ignore the technical difficulties. See you, Tim. Sorry, I was on a bit of a rant there and completely missed that you're going. You've probably already gone, but peace out and I'll see you next week, mate. Are you ready, Paul?
Yes.
Hold on to
We've been ready an hour, mate.
New Carnivale Guild minis.
Yeah, it's Guild. I don't care about Guild.
You already own some Guild.
Yeah, I know. We're not buying anymore. It's Strigoi for me. Strigoi and Gifted.
But there's new minis coming and they might just do more than...
No, they'll be... That's it.
No.
No!
Because that is something... New Strigoi miniatures on the way in Blood on the Water.
It had to be, didn't it? So is it presumably Strigoi Guild?
Yeah. Look at that harpy. Look at it.
Oh my god.
And okay. Look at that.
Homunculus or whatever he is. Okay. So I need to pay attention. And this is next Friday.
No,
this drops,
there is new miniatures coming for everything. There's new doctors. Look.
What the hell is that?
New doctors. Oh my god. That's gorgeous. Yeah, so streaming 2 weeks.
Okay.
We are probably going to be covering this shit because my money will probably be out of my account on Friday.
Yeah, David will be building and painting this lot in 2 weeks' time.
Right. I don't need to go live. Do you want to switch back to your old version, boy?
There we go. Now you finished having a play.
Yeah, I finished having a play. I finished chatting
I must
shit
confess,
about
I do
Carnivale
get,
and
I
TTCombat.
I do get excited about releases from TTCombat. So I'm going to call this Pomeranian done, guys, because the details on it are quite soft. Oh, naturally, I just lied. I tell you what I am going to do.
You've missed something.
This leading paw, I'm going to paint the paw pads a black colour just to give it some definition. I mean, the highlights are a bit dodgy. I'm not entirely happy with the fur, but Jesus, Pomeranian coat is a nightmare to paint. It's good enough. It's an absolutely tiny model, and it's driving me berserk. So I'm going to pretty much call it done. So there you go. And now, because I'm a complete masochist,
what are you on to now?
we're going to do the French Bulldog because, while you're painting small, let's just paint bloody small for the sake of it.
Ricky, we have taco printed tonight, ready for assembly. So,
taco bag!
And taco, sir! And taco!
Megan!
For the racial stereotype.
Turn the mini shot off. Right, awesome. Well, the only thing really that I wanted to sort of talk about, and I've put it up for everybody at home, is poor old 4Ground.
Oh yeah,
they're leaving us
after the rumor we heard last week.
Yeah, they're having a closing down sale until the 30th of June. I think I've seen an email where they said they're going to try and fulfill any orders, that come up to the end, but they're going, and it's bloody going. I've got a ton of that. In fact, you know what? I was just looking. I'm looking at this Van Tassel Manor. I don't own this,
and you want to buy that?
Oh, I'm so bloody tempted. I tell you. Oh. I love their centerpiece models. Jesus, look at it!
Well, I would, but I'm obviously delayed by X minutes because stream. Just while you're ogling and fucking coming to a climax over 4Ground. Question. Veerman Nightmares, big rat boys with drills and shit.
Yes.
I have the option of combat drill, heavy chem thrower, or a chem thrower. What should I build? Heavy chem thrower, heavy combat drill?
So what do? Build a combination of two weapons?
Yeah, basically we've got, if you can see that, you've got two drills, heavy drill, heavy chem thrower, or a light chem thrower. And I don't really know what to build. I mean, at the end of the day, it's club stuff.
At the end of the day, it's the club set. Nobody's power gaming it to the max. Just build what's cool, man. I mean, I'm guessing you can throw as like a flamer, and you power drills are some sort of massive close combat thing, aren't they?
Probably.
So it makes sense probably to put the ordinary flamer or the ordinary chem thrower, and then the big drills. But yeah,
what twin drills or single drill?
Well, you could just go mad, go twin drills. Although no, mix the weapons up because it's a club set, so it'll give people a chance to try different things, won't it? if it's got two different weapon options, people can mix and people can try different.
Oh, what? So you think a combat drill and a chem thrower, and then
if you can do that?
Well, rule of cool. Does it fucking matter?
I mean, you might. I don't know if you can check the rule book. Have you got the books there? Can you actually take that option? Are you restricted?
I don't know. Shall we have a look?
It might be worth. I mean, to be fair, it probably would have told you in the diagram because it'll be done like either or. And it didn't seem to say that, did it? It was like, stick it where you like.
I thought I had rules out for them, but clearly I was very much mistaken.
Clearly you're wrong, sir. So, yeah. I'm gutted about 4Ground.
They've had a good innings.
Yeah, they've been around a while, but it's... I mean, and I get... Obviously, for anybody who's not seen the gossip online, they've basically said they're winding things up because of costs and the business isn't profitable. I mean, I've seen some sort of speculation or comments that their product isn't competing well with the explosion of 3D printing and the increasing market for printed paper terrain, which is getting better all the time.
Yeah, because actually, this was, as a side note, we sat down last night and said about sort of topics we wanted to discuss, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I said about the fact of, well, why don't we cover paper versus 3D printed versus MDF? Because obviously it's quite a ongoing topic between the two of us. We actually own some of everything of 3D printed paper and MDF. Obviously, you own a lot of 4Ground, don't you?
I have got 4Ground pre-coloured MDF. I've got Sarissa MDF. I've got MDF from other companies. I've got some quite ropey stuff that was dirt cheap. I've got loads of MDF. I've got some GW hard plastic terrain, mostly from my Kill Team purchases. And also I've got a lot of old fantasy hard plastic terrain. I recently backed the Acid House terrain Kickstarter, and that for Infinity, that stuff's banging. You've 3D printed me an entire, sort of fantasy table that I'm planning to snow the crap out of for Frostgrave. So yeah, I've got some of everything really, haven't I?
Yeah.
What about you?
So I own 4 foot by 4 foot table of MDF from TTCombat.
That's your because the Clubbones Carnivale, and you've got DZC.
Yeah. And obviously did the assembly and building for both, so know the fucking pain of MDF assembly, and the fact that I've still got some MDF assembly to do for DZC. Okay, it was additional purchases to the bundle deal that was available at UKGE, but the point still stands of it's not the quickest, and the fact that there's no paint on it. 3D printing wise, obviously, I've put together the table for you. I've put together a table for somebody else who we both know. I've put together items for myself as scatter terrain or as features, objective markers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I've done a fair bit on that. Paper terrain, I don't really own any. However, I have had run-ins with the old style Infinity stuff from Corvus Belli.
Yeah, I've got a fair bit of that.
The old light thin cardboard.
Yeah.
And then
the sort of start set stuff.
Yeah, and then I've run into their new stuff. The Beyond Apparition Kaldstrom type of terrain.
Yeah.
Which is more like MDF, honestly, because it's that 3mm thick fucking hardboard printed on both sides. Can't fold it flat, but is far better than their original paper offerings. Do you know what I mean?
They're all. I've got stuff from the red Veil style.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay for what it is. It starts at terrain. It won't win no awards, but it's fine.
Yeah. So, for me, in order of probably preference, is 3D printed, owning a 3D printer and doing what I need to, etc.
Yeah.
Then MDF with paper last.
What about hard plastic?
Well, I classify hard plastic in the same kind of category as 3D printed. The only caveat being I don't really own any hard plastic terrain that isn't 3D printed because GW put an egregious amount of fucking details on their terrain, and consequentially it's a pain in the arse to build, paint, assemble, everything else.
Yeah. Not arguing with you there.
So again, I would rather spend 4 or 5 hours rather than painting and assembling that fucking diatribe, browsing the Thingiverse and other sites that are available for terrain that I want to theme my sets.
Or backing Kickstarters,
or
like Flatland City.
Yeah, or any of those things. I mean, again, I've got some.
So you've said what your preference is. So talk through why.
Right. For me, hard plastic terrain. It's throw down base color, throw down some highlights, whether that be through an airbrush or dry brush, or some washes and then some dry brushing, and it's done. The other reason I like hard plastic is because I prime with auto paints. It doesn't fucking chip that badly. There's not any prep work to do on it to get it to a prime state. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas with MDF, there's the assembly with glue and elastic bands, and when people get creative, there's all the fucking card detailing to go on buildings as well.
To be devil's advocate here, some of the sophisticated plastic stuff needs putting together.
Yes, but again, this is caveated with 99% of the things that I'm doing are coming off my printer pre-done. Because the other thing is, whilst I would like to print like Patrick's trees and stuff, while I have the setup that I have currently where I just have totes and everything gets thrown in a tote, that is a recipe for broken branches, broken terrain, everything else. And I'll spend more time tarting and titivating it post paint and assembly than just printing stuff that I can grab and launch into a 30-litre tote, throw in the back of my car, take to club, use, throw back in a box, bring home.
Right. So, because I mean, a lot of the buildings you did for me are multi-part on that Frostgrave stuff, aren't they?
Yes.
But your preference is for basically stuff that you can print in one hit.
Yeah, well, again, even if there's multiple layers and they come apart, kind of thing, or like what I did for you was obviously the situation where it didn't fit my printer. I don't mind some assembly and filling work, because it's no different to assembling a miniature at the end of the day.
But you like the freedom of 3D printing because you can minimize that. Yeah. You've got an element of control over it.
Yeah.
Am I being fair there?
It's basically print a layer. Right, I printed my layer. a bit of my building. It's all incorporated in one. I just rip off some supports and we're good to go.
Yeah.
There's no assembly other than possibly it was too big and I need to put some holes in it and use some epoxy glue to assemble it and then fill the seam line. But that's just me being pedantic. The other thing is because it's so textured, it takes speed painting techniques like washes and dry brushing really well.
Yeah.
Whereas MDF, not so much.
Yeah, MDF is definitely more of a pig.
The other problem, or the other massive problem with MDF, the fact that you have to seal it prior to painting it.
Yeah. Or unless you want to spend 500 quid on paint.
Or buying 500 quid's worth of the pre-painted stuff from the likes of 4Ground or that kind of stuff. Because that is an option, isn't it? You don't have to buy burnt wood.
So, I mean, obviously, so your first preference is 3D print.
Yeah,
and
just because, again, it's bomb-proof.
Only from the fact that it's hard plastic, high resilience, easy to paint, easier to paint.
Yeah.
So your next choice is
MDF.
MDF, including pre-colored MDF.
I haven't ever owned any.
Why not?
So I don't have space for a massive fucking collection like you heathen.
So it's not cost, it's space.
No, it's not cost, it's space for me.
Okay, that's fair.
Because again, I have a 120 litre tote filled with a 4x4 table for DZC. There's 80 litre tote filled with the baseboards for that game. It ain't ideal to then be adding another fucking 60 litre tote with all the pre-painted stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I mean, and plus, if space is one of your things, and then last of all for you is paper.
Yes, last of all for me is paper.
Okay, and that is because why?
The resilience of it. Like, don't get me wrong. That acid house that you've obviously done the unboxing for on the channel.
Yeah.
It doesn't look half bad. Whether it'll look that good in 5 years' time, after you've played with it 4 or 5 times a year,
and put it up and taking it down, and put it up and taking it down,
remains to be seen.
I think that's fair, because you can't know until you use it.
Or the alternative option is use the hard printed style from Corvus Belli. But then you're in the same predicament. You've got fucking paper terrain that takes up the same footprint and volume as fucking MDF or printed terrain.
Yeah.
In a tote. Because it doesn't come apart.
And it is a hell of a lot less robust than either of the previous options because, like you say, I mean, it's a bit like the Carnivale San Canciano stuff. They're sort of glued together, assembled, but they're as fragile as hell. You know, if I chuck them in with a load of heavy MDF terrain or whatever, they'll just get crushed.
Well, again, it's just that thing, isn't it, as well, of, is that going to hold? And particularly for us that play with... This is the other thing. This is why 3D printing for me, I think, is a massive thing. My DZC terrain was an indulgence purpose UKGE. It was, I love the game, I have all 5 factions, let's get a table that really sells it as an introduction game for people. Are you there, Paul?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
No, it's just a complete and utter silence, that was all. So that was why I bought the MDF terrain. The other thing is there is not that much on the market or wasn't at the time that it was easily accessible for 10mm printing. Now, obviously, the other beautiful thing with 3D printing is if you see something at 28mm and you want to shrink it down, you fucking can do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, again, it's another tick in the old 3D print box.
So I bought the MDF terrain set for that. Bought the Carnivale set for club because, again, we have storage space at club. We've got some totes and stuff. The MDF terrain, particularly when we've put some varnish and stuff on it, is pretty fucking bomb-proof. And because it's not being transported to and from the car, it only gets tossed on the table and back in the box, it's quite resilient. Now, the alternative to all of these options is to go to a place like GameMat.eu, isn't it? And buy their...
That's true. The cast resin pre-paint
stuff.
We'd forgotten about that.
But the cast resin pre-paint stuff from GameMat.eu, I will tell you now, unless it's the rock set, it's all pretty much hollow. It's like slip cast.
Yeah, we had issues with the ruins, didn't we?
I will state that because we are a club and people put things in boxes quickly at the end of the night because maybe the game's overrun slightly, there is a distinct issue with breakages. And considering those boxes only move 15-20 feet between the cupboard and the tables, or they did used to get transported, to be fair, but we've still had breakages even post not transporting them and having the cupboard at club with them in.
Yeah.
So it comes down to packaging and them not necessarily being packaged appropriately. Obviously, I know we had the bubble wrap and that kind of thing. And what you get for 120 quid or whatever it was at the point that we purchased those wasn't bad. But when you can compare it to the size of table that you can get with MDF terrain, and obviously the amount of work that you've got to put in to make it even at the same kind of level, or with 3D printing, is night and day difference for the same price. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Particularly when you own your own 3D printer. I know, obviously, a lot of you guys, if you go out there and go on the likes of Etsy, etc., you do get charged an arm and a leg for printed terrain, and it is a similar price to GW kits. But it does take time. I mean, a 4-foot table for you took me, 3 and a bit months of printing? Now, obviously, I don't print every single fucking night, but I do try to chew my way through it and get as much on as regularly as I can.
Yeah.
And there are niggles with printing because you end up with errors and shit that fails and other stuff that is part and parcel of the hobby as an aside.
Yeah, the whole hobby of...
Yeah, the old hobby within a hobby.
Oh, yeah, the hobby within a hobby. That's a good way of putting it.
But it is something I do enjoy. What about you? Where do you stand on this road?
Well, for me, the overriding factor is the amount of work I've got put into it, to be fair. So...
Hang on a second, I've just seen something in chat as well. Ricky, what do you mean the top for Paul's paints? Do you mean the coloured bit on top? That's Paul just painting the top of his lid so he knows what colour everything is. Or what do you mean, Chuck?
Because I'm sad like that.
But carry on.
Yeah, so for me, the amount of work and effort that needs to go into it is the most important thing. So pre-coloured MDF a la 4Ground or pre-coloured resin pieces as of GameMat.eu, that sort of stuff is right at the top of my list. I don't really mind what the material is if it looks good. I mean, obviously, MDF has its purpose in terms of buildings and things, and the resin looks better for terrain features and you know, things like containers and generators. Although containers can work in MDF. Next on the list would be card for me. And again, it's because I don't have to put many hours in. I don't have time.
Yeah.
The only reason I would put card terrain, even stuff like Acid House, which is good terrain, is that it's so flat. It's so flat,
there's no dimension.
two-dimensional. You cannot compare it to any kind of three-dimensional print or not print, but resin cast or MDF assembly. Below card and paper would come anything that I've got to paint, basically. And I would probably put, I would rather paint resin. So, like, I had a few terrain pieces from Burrows and Badgers, like the Mystical Circle, and some terrain pieces, some crates and barrels and bags stacked together. I'd rather paint resin than hard plastic, because hard plastic tends to be over detailed, particularly as the main hard plastic terrain manufacturer is Games Frickin' Workshop. Yeah, let's put 10,000 skulls. I mean, it's a good example of where Games Workshop should be dragged out and shot in the courtyard is the Garden of Moor set, which I don't know if everybody's familiar with. So the Garden of Moor is a graveyard set, effectively. But rather than being a load of gravestones, it's a lot of crypts, all within a sort of, I guess it's a 12 by 12 zone with railings and that around it. And they've modelled fucking everything. There are flowers moulded growing up the walls. Whereas if it was resin or MDF terrain, they'd probably have left that off. And then I can buy flowers and vines from Woodland Scenics and glue the fuckers on. And that's quicker than having to hand paint a load of bloody twisted vines. Do you know what I mean? It's like, stop. There's too much on here. Just make some terrain and then let me deck it out as I want. Maybe I just want it basic.
You can't snow that shit up either for like Frostgrave.
No, I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, because again, you do see another set of terrain that's been driving me batshit is the kill team terrain. And you get a lot of people on YouTube, and all credit to them, they speed paint the shit out of it. So if you look at it out the corner of your eye, it's fine. Then you start looking at it and you realise you've got strings of light bulbs that are painted metallic, or fucking jerry cans that are painted metallic. And it's like, yeah, but those details, it's a bit like you. The OCD kicks in and it's like, oh yeah, but that looks weird. That looks fucking weird, you know.
Yeah.
And then you have to go and keep picking at it, and it's hour after hour after hour. So that drives me nuts. And then probably last of all, in terms of the painting, for exactly the reasons you've said, is MDF. And I know I'm going to put my hands up here. This is me not having skills, because there are people who, with airbrushing and stippling, can smash out MDF terrain and it looks every bit as good as painted hard plastic. But I don't have that skill set yet. Do you know what I mean? If I'm weathering, because again, MDF's ultra flat. It's absorbent as fuck, so you've got to seal it. And then because everything is so flat and smooth, you've got to do a lot of work to add texture. And I know it can be done. I've seen it done. And, props to those people, but that ain't me. And again, it's time. Fucking hell. I've got so much stuff to paint. I don't need to be painting every piece of terrain I own. So for those reasons, for me, that's why I'm probably more gutted than you about 4Ground, because their stuff isn't the cheapest. It's a premium price product. Totally get it. But my time is worth a hell of a lot, and I'll pay the money. Thanks very much. Plus the fact and the storage is an issue. I'll give you that. I mean, I've got 2 80-litre totes just of 4Ground buildings. And that's mostly the Marienburg. Is it Marienburg range, the fantasy range?
I don't know, mate. I don't know 4Ground that well.
So I don't know any of their futuristic sci-fi stuff, anything like that.
I mean, with the fact that they've got a closing down sale on, I'm considering placing an order for just some DZC scatter.
I'll be honest, I was not going to place an order simply because I can't really afford it at the minute. Because obviously March is a bad month for me because we have car costs, insurance and tax and all that crap. But now I've been on the website to talk to you people about it. It's your fault. I'm now going to probably have to go and have a browse, and I may end up dropping some cash.
Ricky, I do believe Paul just brushes it on, mate.
Yeah, I literally just. Oh, do you know the trick, Ricky? Paint it with a brush, then varnish it. Ta-da! That's all I do. Paint it, and then, well, I used to use a brush-on matte varnish from Vallejo, and I'd literally paint varnish over the paint. But now I've got the AK Interactive airbrush varnish. Matte. Yeah, so I literally just take the lid off the bottle and varnish the lid. Obviously, don't leave it on the bottle just in case you varnish it tight, shut. Take it off, spray it with varnish, because it dries in seconds, and if you turn the varnish off and just keep the air flowing in the airbrush, you can dry it within seconds. So that's the way I do it, mate. Stop it peeling. As easy as that.
What I've gone for is I've gone for heavy combat drill, and
this is the VMin.
Yeah, combat drill and chem thrower, because fuck it, why not?
Yeah, cool. Good call, sir. Good call. Right. Pomeranian's done. French Bulldog. So
are you about to pick my brains for painting advice? Can I stop you right there a second? I just want to run and check on my print, and then I will be right back.
Oh, for God's sake.
The FDM printer is on. It doesn't like being unsupervised. It's like a small child.
Except yes, go on then. Check your print. I'll have a look at what's going on in chat. Yeah, so I mean, to be fair, Ricky, it's just my OCD. If I've seen a lot of people, they put these Vallejo bottles in racks with the bases sticking out. But particularly, I find that because the thickness of the plastic varies so much with the bottles, some of them look really white and pearly. And then when you paint them, they look completely frigging different. And I got so sick of it, I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to paint the damn lids with the actual colours in the bottle. Then I know exactly what it looks like. Oh, the other tip that I'll give you is before you paint the white plastic lid, just get one of the hobby metal files and file the plastic or sand it with a sanding stick just to make it a rough surface, because that really smooth plastic, the paint will peel right off. Don't go mad, because it's really soft plastic and you can gouge the hell out of it if you're using a metal file. I've overcooked it a couple of times. You literally just need to give it a scratch, but then the paint sticks 1,000 times better.
Paul?
Yep.
This is why we don't leave 3D printers unsupervised.
This is also why I have absolutely no damn interest in getting into 3D printing. What a pain in the ass. So that whole lot's scrambled then.
Yep, and it looks like it might have fucked my bed.
How? What melted onto it?
It's just scraped round on it, and I need to take some alcohol to it and have a look. But
And see how bad the... What's the bed made of? Plastic?
Glass.
Ooh. Ouch. Okay, well...
Lesson learned. I left it at the first layer. I didn't check the first layer was down. It looks like the first layer failed halfway through.
And the rest of
And
it's
then
just
everything
spewed.
else just made a nice block of molten plastic.
Great.
So yeah, not ideal. 1,000 might be a bit too fine, Ricky.
So 1,000 grit. Yeah, that's possibly. Yeah, you're probably over egging that. I think I do mine with a 400, 200. As I say, I mean, to be fair, if you're using a sanding stick, just use a fucking 120 on it. It's the metal files that really will go mad. Like, I've used those, you know, get them shaped hobby files and they've got different profiles. The first couple of bottles, I used like a triangular one, which has got really sharp edges. I need to slice the top off the lid because I was going a bit heavy-handed. But, yeah. And as I say, the paint sticks so much better. So, coming back, come on, mate, give me 3 colours. I'm getting, the drawback with painting individual models is I get sick of picking colour schemes. So
right.
I'm painting him with black fur.
Yeah.
So
what details has he got on him?
Well, he's got swords in sheaths. He's got pouches hanging on bandoliers. I think he's wearing some sort of dog blanket stroke jacket.
What is he meant to be?
Damn, that's a good question. To which I don't know the answer. Let me go look.
Fucking printer. I'll have to fucking have a look at that after. That's pissed me off now. Because it was fine. It was fine earlier. And then it's just shatter brick. Literally. Fuck's sake.
So, to be fair,
because weren't you doing him?
He's a fighter, apparently. I mean, he's got little pauldrons.
Right, I think you should do that leather recipe like I did on my butler's cape.
Right.
Which is leather brown into red brown into orange brown.
Which I don't know, but fine. So, what should we do brown? All the pouches and straps?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what? Give me another colour for sword scabbards and stuff.
Because he's going to be black. Has he got any fabric or anything on him?
He seems to have like a fabric surcoat, which is gathered up round his neck, goes through the 2 collars, and then runs down his whole back under all the strappings and stops just short of his bum.
I think that should be purple.
Oh, purple. Okay, right. Okay. So we're going to go purple, and then you reckon a reddy brown. So
yeah.
What, a mahogany base or cavalry brown? Cavalry brown is insanely red.
Yeah, you could go the other way with that and do red leather as your highlights. So do
yeah. I think we'll go cavalry brown.
Leather brown, red brown.
Okay, so we got purple, a reddish brown. Give me a third. Scabbards.
khaki, like a fabric khaki. Germ cam beige into deck tan.
So you get a really pale one then.
Yeah.
Okay, so germ cam beige is your base now.
What do you think?
Well, I shall put them here on the old miniature cam.
Dream has just completely stopped working for me. I don't know why, but it is still live. But... Stop being full screen, you prick.
Let me check YouTube. Yeah, it says we're still live, so I don't think there's an issue.
I think it's the internet, my end, mate.
Oh, that'll be a shock. So there you go. It's up on Minicam, if you can see that. So you reckon that's the 3-colour combo?
Hang on.
Purple, red, and beige.
Don't play on TV. Just fucking go to where we are now. Hang on, because I'm a bit behind.
You should be a little bit delayed.
Yeah. Possibly just deck tan ivory.
So instead of that, more of a grey colour.
Yeah.
More of a that, you reckon?
Tell me in a second when it gets in the pot.
To be fair, you might be onto something with that.
Because the only other option I might recommend is rather than the purple, go like a pork turquoise.
Like a teal.
Yeah.
No, I fancy purple. Now you've said it. Because I haven't used any on these minis yet.
That's what I was thinking.
So I think you're onto something with that. I'm wondering. Do you know what? I think what I'll do is I'll do the pouches in the cavalry brown, but do the deck tan for the straps.
Yeah.
I think that might work better, so that the sort of darker colour is over the top of the lighter colour. I think that may work better for me.
You do you, Chuck. I don't need to
Yeah,
justify it
no,
to
that's
me.
fine. It's just nice to have. It's just nice to have a direction without having to think about it again. Because that's one of. It's funny, isn't it? I'm sure there are loads of painters who hate batch painting and painting 10 of the same model. But do you know what? I quite like it. I hate it when I've got like 15 individual models and I've got to pick unique schemes for them all. I get very fatigued.
Whereas I love that.
You love that more, yeah. Yeah, it's for contrasts.
Yeah, well, again, you put it all together in, like, again, my halflings, you put them together with a bit of a theme between them. But you, again, just go, okay, whatever works kind of thing as a whole, and then go.
Yeah, I mean, you're like a Blood Bowl team is perfect for me. It's like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I make that decision once, and then I paint 15 models, all very, very, very similar.
Whereas a Blood Bowl team for me is a bit soul destroying.
Because of the repetition.
Yeah. Because of the reps.
Give me the reps.
More reps. And as daft as it seems,
I'll tell you what.
5 minutes before the end of stream.
Do you know what? I was just thinking that because there's one other thing that we need to discuss.
Correction. You want to discuss.
Well, no, because what I want to do is discuss it with you. Let me disappear off shop for just a second.
Here's one I prepared earlier. Fucking.
Three, two, one. You're back in the room. Coveting is a real word. So, move that light out of the way. Ta-da! So, for everybody at home, welcome to Assassin's Creed, the board game.
No,
Did you notice Assassin's Creed, Brotherhood of Venice, the board game.
Get it right.
Did you notice they're bringing it to retail later this year?
Yes, I knew.
But they're replacing all the models with standees.
What?
They're taking all the models out and putting in standees.
To be fair, though, the price point it's at.
Yes, I mean, I can totally understand why they're doing it. Because people don't want, people don't want to buy £150 ball games, do they? It's too much for them.
Try 300, but yes.
Well, no, I mean, just for the core box, I'm talking.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you went God pledge, because you're a psycho. So yes, I have read 80% of the rule book.
You've done more than me, then.
And I need to read the campaign booklet. So it looks like I need to paint apprentice assassins.
Yeah.
I need to paint at least 2 of the core assassins, because when you do your first adventure or first mission, your apprentice levels up into one of the named assassins, doesn't it?
Yes.
Whose names are... Let me refer to my crib sheet.
You even prepped a crib sheet, Jesus.
No, I'm being sarcastic, mate. I'm just looking it up in the book. Alessandra, Bastiano, Claudio, and Daria. In my finest Italian faux accent. So I need to paint up 2 apprentices, because obviously what I'm thinking is I need to get myself set up so that I can play this game, because I want to play it. And to do a solo playthrough, they recommend you take 2 assassins. You start off as apprentices. Then when you've completed, I think it's mission 0.2.
0.3, I think you have to go.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You then turn them from apprentices into one of the named assassins you pick.
Yeah.
But the only thing I do need to do is look here in the old campaign booklet and see what bad guy models I need to paint, because I do want to play fully painted. So...
Yeah, Ricky, by the way, if this shit interests you, what Paul is leafing through on screen, I have interest at club to run it, so it'd be me, you, Luke, somebody else.
Okay, so to play mission 1, you require 3 crossbowmen.
Probably, maybe. I don't know.
Why do you not know this stuff?
Because I took everything out of the box, looked at it, and then put it back in the box because it scared me.
I was frightened. Yeah, so you need 3 to play mission 1. You need 3 crossbowmen and a fast travel station painted up. To play Mission 2, you require 5 crossbowmen, 4 ladders, and a fast travel station.
Okay, so I'm already a fair bit of the way there then.
And Sequence 3 requires a fast travel station, 4 ladders, and 2 crossbowmen. And that's it.
Oh, fancy.
I think, by the looks of this. So
Fancy.
So basically, I just need to pay 1 fast travel station,
Yeah.
about half a dozen ladders, and 5 crossbowmen.
Yeah.
We have a plan.
And your apprentice assassins and your non-apprentice assassins.
Yeah, so I think what I'll do is I'll start with the 2 apprentices, then I'll paint the named assassins. I'll just pick 2, whichever look coolest. And then we'll bang out some crossbowmen and some terrain. And then we'll be able to get that beggar on the table. And I might, if I'm feeling brave, even do some videos of my playthrough. If people want to watch along, they can. You have to let us know in the comments. Is that something you want to see? Or is it like, spoilers! Don't do it! Don't do it!
I was going to say, everything's in envelopes, isn't it?
Yeah, because it will be massive, massive spoilers for people who might want to play the game.
Here's the pre-spoiler alert to the possible spoiler alert in case we're actually going to spoiler alert the game. How many times can I space spoiler alert in a minute and it actually still makes fucking sense? I don't really know, but this might spoil the experience.
So yeah, let us know in the comments below. Thanks very much for being here tonight with us for our 2-hour session. Thank you very much, Ricky, for your input in the chat.
Cheers, Tim, if you actually watch it back. What you missed.
You'll definitely have to bully David into getting Assassin's Creed out for the club, because I mean I've read through the rules and it looks damned cool. It doesn't look very complicated in terms of its mechanics, and I love the way that the assassins are hidden and then they need to be revealed, etc. But we'll have to see how it plays, but it does look cool as hell. And if you're like me and you're a complete sucker for the Assassin's Creed franchise, back when it was a stealth franchise, not a glorified RPG with level ups, then give it a go.
Well, that's why they've gone for Brotherhood, isn't it? Rather than anything else.
Yeah. Because what did they? Because they did some expansions, didn't they? But there was Roma, which was the same sort of
expansion-wise. On the God Pledge, you had Creed versus Crows, which is Assassins versus Templars multiplayer base destruction.
I haven't got that one.
You had Tokyo or something Tokyo, which is the modern with the Animus, the guards, the dogs, all that kind of shit.
I don't have that one.
And then you had the Roma expansion, like you say, with the Papal Guard, the followers of Romulus. And
that's the one I did buy. Or Ross bought for me.
So, yeah, there's that. I also have some very beautiful.
You got the terrain. The only other big expansion was the tower, wasn't it?
So there's
huge terrain piece.
2 towers and a hay stack for the leap of faith point. And then the other thing that I've seen on the internet for Paul is there's quite a following on Facebook where some lads have sculpted some half 2D risers for the.
Oh, you showed me those, yeah.
For the roofs, so the rooftops are not actually at board level like they would be on the card stock game. So there's a possibility that I'm going to print some of them for me and Paul as well.
Yeah, because it gives you that 2.5D slight lift to the rooftops, which is cool.
Yeah, and it gives your ladders something high to go against as well.
Yeah, instead of just being freestanding and looking a bit weird.
So,
but yeah, even more stuff to get done.
Now then, boys and girls, it's been a pleasure for you to join us.
It's been a pleasure, says David, sitting there quietly fuming over his busted print.
I'm gonna go fucking. That printer has been. I fucking said, didn't I? Touch wood right at the start of this stream, and I should have gone and checked on it after an hour, not after nearly 2.
Yeah, to be fair, you did say touch wood, although that's jinxed it. I don't know if we caught that on stream before we went live. But
I think
that is a thing that you did say. So if just buy a lottery ticket this weekend with foretelling skills like that, your quid's in, mate.
No, it's because that printer's a piece of shit. And
oh dear.
Strongly
the joys of the 3D printing hobby are brought to you tonight by David.
Knife.
Right, everybody, we're going to kill this stream before David goes and kills his printer. Thanks very much for being with us, and have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Bye, lads.
End stream.
And just like that.